Hey, this is Catch Wheeler with FTR, aka one half of the greatest tag team of all time, saying go right now, savewithconrad.com, and I promise you, you won't regret it.
If I could say take advantage of one thing with First Family Mortgage, it is the knowledge that they have, because they have knowledge far beyond just the loan process, and they can help you out with all of that.
That's how confident I am of working with these people. Like, I'm going to keep buying and I'm going to keep going back.
SaveWithConrad.com.
NMLS number 65084, equal housing lender. Woo!
Right now, Fight Plus, the ultimate digital platform for live sports and entertainment, is offering a free 7-day trial at tryfight.com. Yes, you can access Fight Plus's incredible library full of combat sports, wrestling, and other premium content absolutely free for 7 days by going to tryfight.com. And the best part, you can find them on all major streaming platforms available today. So don't waste another second. Go to tryfight.com. That's TRYFITE.com right now and find out why they are the undisputed champ of live sports and entertainment.
The recognized symbol of excellence in sports entertainment.
Hey, this is Kurt Angle, and welcome to the Kurt Angle Show. On the show today, we'll be discussing the most electrifying man in sports entertainment. But first, let me introduce to you my co-host, Paul Bromwell. How you doing today, Paul?
Kurt, I'm doing great, and man, we've just had so much fun over the last hour, and I'm going to explain this to our fans because, Kurt, we owe it to our fans. And if for those of you watching on YouTube, which you should be at this point, is that he's in his car. Okay, Kurt is traveling around the globe just to get this podcast recorded because his shitternet has been down for I don't know how long, and they're apparently working on it. He sees trucks around outside of his house, standing around, they're talking, doing nothing. Kurt, is that about right? Is that what's going on?
You got it accurate, Paul. They're not doing a damn thing. They're just standing outside of their trucks doing absolutely nothing. But they say the internet should be up by tomorrow.
And you couldn't record tomorrow with your busy travel schedule, but hey, we are delivering content every week, whether whether internet's down or not. So Kurt drove out. I think he's at a Costco or Taco Bell parking lot.
I'm at the Costco parking lot.
And we're going to do this, and I'll levelate the audio when we're done. So just so you guys hang with us. But listen, he said it. We're here this week to cover the most electrifying man, not only in sports entertainment. I mean, he was the man in pro wrestling, Kurt. A movie star, Hollywood, right? And now he's even invaded football. It's all about The Rock. And I thought we could start right at the beginning and talk about your memories of first meeting him, Dwayne Johnson.
I met him after I got called up from Memphis to do some dark matches for WWE. And I went up and introduced myself to him. I had a lot of respect for him. I mean, he was the hottest superstar at the time. I do believe that Stone Cold might have been out with injury at this particular time. So Rock was the man at that time. And I introduced myself to him. And he was really cool with me. I mean, he understood, I guess we were both college athletes, and he was a Division I football player. I was a Division I wrestler. So, we had a lot in common of being college athletes, and I think that really helped.
Yeah, and you guys both had worked in Memphis a little bit when you were getting ready for the main roster. Did you ever interact there, share some fun stories of your time down there together with Lawler and Cornette and all those guys?
No, we didn't share any stories, but, we would make some comments about Jerry Lawler or Jim Cornette, how crazy Jim Cornette was, which I absolutely love Jim Cornette. Don't get me wrong about him. I love the guy, but he is a little bit crazy.
And that's what makes him cool. He's a little crazy, but man, he is something else, man. He's speaking of electrifying. He's one of those guys. But you has talked about this before, Kurt, and it was when you decided, hey, you were on the fence. You turned down WWE as far as that first big contract, but you started to watch it, and you saw The Rock, and you saw Stone Cold Steve Austin, and you started to really get into it. Those were the guys that really got you into wrestling and wanting to become a wrestler, right?
Oh yeah, Stone Cold, The Rock, Undertaker, Triple H. Just watching those guys in the show, watching Raw every week. I never watched wrestling before, so this was the first for me. And in 1998, I fell in love with it. And I thought, man, I would love to do this. I think these guys are great athletes. They're great entertainers. I think I could probably, add something to it. Especially with my Olympic gold medal and my accomplishments.
Yeah, it's kind of cool when you think about it. He was an influence, if you want to call it that, in Kurt Angle wanting to become a pro wrestler. He, Stone Cold, and the other guys you mentioned. But did you ever imagine that he would become such the gigantic mega crossover star that he is today?
You know what? Honestly, yes, I believe that. I knew that just because of his character. It became larger than life. This, talking in third person, not me, but The Rock. The Rock says this, The Rock says that. It was such a cool gimmick. And people were mesmerized when he would do promos, and they were so entertaining. I mean, he is absolutely the most entertaining guy in sports entertainment history. He really is. His promos, his wrestling, he covers all the, all the corners of what you need to be an incredible wrestler.
So are you guys, when we talked about it when you first met him, what were you just like immediately a connection, fast friends type thing, or?
Yeah. We didn't hang out, he was with his own clan. I was with mine because I was the new guy. Edge and Christian were the new guys. We all hung out together. Rhino too. Rock was there for a while, so he hung out with the guys that he came into the business with. But we were still good friends, and we had a lot of respect for each other.
Well, buddy, here it is. We're going to start with our first clip of the week. We have 4 total, but this is the first match of you two together. It's January 6, 2000, and it's a SmackDown episode in Orlando. So we're going to take a look at it. It's video of your first match and some pre-match promos. Let's check it out.
I stand before you tonight as an Olympic champion.
And undefeated.
An American hero.
That's true.
A representative of this great nation.
Show some respect.
A man who has gone and done battle in the Olympic Games and came out a winner.
And he never lies, Michael. He's so forthright.
Not to mention, I am still undefeated here in the World Wrestling Federation. That's right.
And he's also a favorite of Stephanie McMahon's.
And as you know,
she thinks he's cute, Michael.
I am a man of intensity, integrity, and intelligence.
The 3 eyes.
So I feel that I should be the people's champion.
Uh-oh. He wants to claim the title of the people's champion?
Oh, boy. You mean to tell me that you would prefer to pronounce this GQ smooth-talking, smart aleck as your people's champion? Give me a
I don't know if that was too wise. He got The Rock all fired up.
So it's the Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle set to take on The Rock, but The Rock's not through yet.
Uh-oh.
Oh, boy.
The Rock says, you come down here and you run your mouth. And you've managed to do something you never should have done, and that is annoy The Rock.
Uh-oh, The Rock's annoyed.
So The Rock says this, you are, no doubt, a true American hero.
Giving him his props. Got the gold medals.
And upon realizing this, The Rock couldn't help but notice all your gold medals.
Oh, boy.
I think I know where this is going. They're already shiny, Rock.
Well, tonight in Orlando, The Rock would like you to do something very special with those medals.
Oh, Mickey Mouse might be watching.
Something you probably have never done with medals. The Rock wants you to take an all-American cloth. He wants you to take some all-American wax.
Wax?
And The Rock wants you to shine those medals up real nice.
Wait a minute, Rock, those are Olympic gold medals.
Shine them up real good, because you're very special. So The Rock says, when you're done shining, put the medals down. Do about 13 jumping jacks. Do about 27 sit-ups. Do some squats. Take those medals.
Oh, no.
Turn those some bitches sideways and stick them straight up your Olympic ass.
Oh, boy. So here we go. The Rock versus Kurt Angle, and we're underway. Rock with the right hands, hammering away on the Olympian, Kurt Angle.
Kurt Angle's not used to this kind of abuse.
Two of the WWF's brightest young stars in this one. Kurt Angle's undefeated, but the streak could end tonight, and Kurt Angle getting out of Dodge quickly.
He's showing one of those eyes, intelligence.
You know, King, Triple H and Stephanie are in this game. Stephanie thinks Kurt Angle's cute, wants his undefeated streak to remain intact, but Triple H hooked him with a heel tonight, and what a clothesline by The Rock on the steel stage.
That's no way to treat an Olympian, especially not Olympic gold medal winner. No,
no.
Oh, there you go. There's a block.
Kurt Angle counter, and a nice suplex by Kurt Angle. The Rock's back, crashing into that steel.
I gotta say, The Rock may have underestimated Kurt Angle.
Yeah, how do you underestimate an Olympic gold medalist? He's never been beaten, King. Albeit Steve Blackman's had a role in some of Kurt Angle's recent victories, but nonetheless, Angle is undefeated.
I think that Blackman thing's sort of just a coincidence. But I know one thing that's not a coincidence. Stephanie McMahon thinks that Kurt Angle is cute.
You think Triple H may be a little jealous?
What do you think of Kurt?
I think he's a tremendous athlete. Olympic gold medalist.
How's he look to you?
Oh, please. Rock, right hands. Kurt Angle backs up against the ropes. Reversal by Angle. Look at this.
Oh, man!
Belly. Kurt Angle hooks the leg of The Rock. There's two. Almost had him. And a kick out by The Rock after a count of two. Kurt Angle almost pulled a huge upset here on SmackDown.
We're one count away from beating The Rock right here in Orlando.
Tremendous belly-to-belly, and Angle now with the upper hand. Right hands to The Rock. The side of The Rock's head, and the People's Champ's in trouble.
Oh, listen to this.
Angle stomping away into the chest of The Rock.
Is this how the people treat an Olympic gold medal winner? A champion that represented our entire country with chants like that, Michael?
Well, he may be an Olympic gold medal winner, but he's not the People's Champion. As The Rock hammers away, reverses the tide, another counter by Angle. Swinging neck breaker by The Rock. Rolls Angle over, hooks the leg. There's two, and Angle gets a shoulder up.
You know, I get the feeling you're a front runner.
What do you mean I'm a front runner?
Well,
look out! Oh, Angle! Rock walked into that one, and Angle countered.
I mean, it's all right for you to cheer for Kurt Angle just because he's probably the underdog in this match.
I'm not cheering for anybody.
He's an American hero.
It's been a tremendous matchup. Kurt Angle looking great in this one against The Rock. A good accounting of himself. Walked into that Rock, planted a DDT. Floats into the cover, hooks the leg, two, and again Angle somehow gets his shoulder up.
Boy, I'll tell you, you just don't go this long in the World Wrestling Federation and stay undefeated without being great.
Rock with right hands. And one for good measure. And Angle knocked off his feet in the corner.
He's hurting now. Look at this!
The Rock, Samoan drop. Samoan drop, hooks the leg. There's one, there's two, and again Angle gets the shoulder up, and we've got company. The lethal weapon, kendo stick in hand, and The Rock knocks him off the apron.
That was just a coincidence.
And Angle, wait a minute, Blackman on the apron again. And he comes in the hard way.
What are you doing, Rock? Get him out of there.
Oh, no. Rock's got that kendo stick, King, and he cracks it across the head of Blackman. And he uses it on Angle.
Wait, he can't do that.
Well, he just did it, and the referee's calling for the bell.
Rock, you can't, that's illegal.
The referee's disqualifying The Rock for using that kendo stick.
That means Kurt Angle won.
The Rock pulled Blackman and the stick into the ring, and then he used it.
Kurt Angle's still undefeated. Oh, no.
Rock falling to Blackman.
Stephanie thinks he's still cute, I bet.
A tremendous matchup.
Result of a disqualification. Kurt Angle.
A great match between Kurt Angle and The Rock. And King, check this out. Angle celebrating like he won the gold again. He won by disqualification. Give me a break.
He got a win over The Rock, though. That's huge.
I don't think The Rock's too pleased that Angle's celebrating at his expense, King. Uh-oh. And here comes the Brahma Bull.
Kurt, time to end this
And there goes Kurt Angle. And you know what's coming next?
Oh, I'm afraid I do. I'm afraid, Michael, we're about to see it. And Kurt Angle's about to feel it. The most electrifying move in sports entertainment today, the People's Elbow.
The Rock delivering the People's Elbow. The Brahma Bull not taking too kindly to the fact Kurt Angle was celebrating at The Rock's expense. And Angle paid for it. But King Kurt Angle remains undefeated.
But he certainly doesn't look much like a winner right now, but I wonder if Stephanie thinks he's still cute.
Well, there you go, Kurt, and we send him home happy with the old people's elbow. And I wonder if Stephanie still thinks you're cute, as Lawler says. But what'd you think? So, as you watched us back all these years later, your first wrestling match ever with The Rock, how do you think you did?
I thought I did really well. I felt like, I think the reason why I had so much heat, to be honest with you, is because The Rock was so over. I mean, those fans were going absolutely crazy for him. And at the beginning, when I was doing my promo, they wouldn't even let me talk. I mean, they were telling me I suck and, go home, Angle, and all this crap. And I'm thinking, I wasn't, I just started in the business. So I wouldn't say I was over, even as a heel. But I think because of The Rock, the fans really turned on me double time, I think it's because The Rock was such a big character in the WWE.
He's a big character. You're annoying as hell with your whole shtick, and you're undefeated. You just heard it at the end of the clip. You have an undefeated streak going on, and you're able to maintain that because of DQ. Who cares? It's history. You beat The Rock. That's what it says at the end of the day. The Torch says Kurt Angle beat Rock by DQ. Before the match, both men engaged in some very entertaining mic work. In the end, Blackman ran in to interfere, but Rock called him. Rock used Blackman's kendo stick on both men for the DQ, keeping Angle undefeated. But I mean, listen, dude, you're working with The Rock at this point. This is very early on in your run here on the main roster. Obviously, the company has a lot of faith in you, but to that point, Rock, he's got to have a lot of faith in you as well to be, want to have you as a dancing partner this early on.
You know what? He told me when I was doing dark matches that I was picking up really quickly and that he wouldn't be surprised if I was champion in my rookie year. And guess what? I did it. I beat The Rock for the World Championship actually 10 months into my career when I started on TV. But I think Rock was absolutely right in that.
Yeah, well, buddy, listen, you'll get your first pinfall loss on WWE TV to The Rock. Of course, it's on Raw in Pittsburgh, okay?
How about that bullshit?
Yeah, talk about some bullshit. Let's have your shoulders hit the mat for the 3 in front of your home fans. Thank you, WWE. It's January 31st of 2000. The Torch says The Rock pinned Kurt Angle at 5 minutes and 33 seconds. 5 minutes and 33 seconds.
Not very long.
I mean, my God, it said it broke his undefeated streak. The level of heat for this match was huge. During the match, Angle got on the mic asking his hometown crowd why they would boo him. Why are you booing me? Especially because he was born at a hospital only 5 blocks from the Civic Arena. Man, you're in full force here. And then The Rock responds immediately by saying, well, it doesn't matter where you were born. That's predictable, but still entertaining. Yeah. The action returned to the ring, and there were several 2 counts and close finishes that had the fans on the edge of their seats. After Rock hits a DDT, a Samoan drop, and a spine buster, almost one after the other, Angle left the ring and tried to walk to the back and get counted out. However, his rival Taz stopped that and threw Angle back into the ring where he took the people's elbow and was pinned, breaking his unpinned streak. After the match, Taz went to clothesline Angle, but Angle ducked and the clothesline hit The Rock. Taz then chased Angle to the back. But, dude, this has to be one of the early times that you were this over, and here you are going one-on-one with the Great One. How was this match, and how happy were you when it was over?
I love the match. I didn't think it was long enough. I think that Rock and I, especially wrestling how many times we did, we've always had incredible matches, and the matches have always been 20-plus minutes. But this match was really short, and I'm not sure why that occurred. Probably because it was TV and we were limited on time, but it was still a great match. And being in the ring with The Rock, anytime I was in the ring with The Rock, I was ecstatic. I was happy, overjoyed. I knew I was in there with one of the greatest of all time, one of the most popular superstars of all time. It's always a great feeling to be in the ring with someone like that.
Kurt, before we get too far down the road, one of the things, and I failed to mention it right after we saw the clip, is a guy that we haven't seen in a while, or me and you haven't seen while we're doing these shows together, is Steve Blackman. Now, man, how much of a badass was Steve Blackman in real life?
Steve was a badass, a real badass. Actually, the one that told me that was Ken Shamrock. Kenny told me, I asked him about Steve because, Steve was a martial artist, and I thought maybe he just dabbled in it. He wasn't really, all that great. But Ken Shamrock told me he's a real badass, that he could beat the shit out of just about 99.9% of the population of the world. He said that Steve Blackman is not a fake. He's not a phony. He's the real deal.
So you didn't decide to say, hey, Steve, let's get in the ring like you did to Brock Lesnar and let's see who's the toughest? You never decided to do that with Blackman?
Well, we're talking MMA, man. I don't know.
Well, hey, that's a part of MMA too, what he does. So
I could have wrestled him down to the mat and, held him down there and said, do you give?
Oh, man, good shit. Listen, let's keep it going because we got a streak that has started now. It's unfortunately for you, it's not an undefeated streak. It's a defeated streak because the Rock defeats you again in a non-title match on the go-home edition of SmackDown in San Antonio before WrestleMania 2000. And this is when you're the Euro Continental Champion, that coin term.
Right.
What's that?
Non-title match.
Yep. Non-title match here. The Torch said Rock beat Kurt Angle in a non-title match. Early in the match, Triple H, Big Show, Stephanie, and Shane walked to ringside. Despite attempted interference by the heels, Rock hit the rock bottom on Angle and scored the pin. That's right. So did it feel like, though, as you're starting to wrestle Rock more and more, it just gets easier and easier working with him?
Yeah. He was so easy to work with, though. I mean, you're talking about a guy that's 6'6", 280 pounds. He moves like he's 150 pounds. He's really athletic, never heavy, always got up for me for my suplexes and my angle slams. Very athletic and just really talented. One of the most talented wrestlers I've ever been in the ring with. I wouldn't say he's technically sound. In other words, he's not a great technician, chain wrestling, but he was really entertaining and he was really athletic.
He had enough wrestling ability that with his charisma, that's it took him.
He didn't need anything else. He was that good. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Well, buddy, listen, you fortunately weren't going on this other opposite streak for too much longer because you do face him again on SmackDown in San Antonio on July 27th. It's you versus The Rock, and the Torch says Kurt Angle beats The Rock by DQ when Rock hit Angle with a chair shot. During the match, Shane and Benoit interfered, but Rock fought them off. And I'm noticing as we go through these, it seems like there's some kind of level of interference on like every match.
They were always protecting all their top stars back then. Very seldom did they get beat, and it usually was by DQ.
Well, buddy, in August, Kurt had you had your first WWF title shot versus The Rock, okay? And it's on main events, it's on house shows, and Rock would be coming out on top. But these matches were August 19th in Greenville, South Carolina, and then August 20th in Mobile, Alabama. But, man, here you are, working main events earlier in your career with the Great One. Talk about pressure. Did you put a lot of pressure on yourself? You always put pressure on yourself, but talk about what you were doing at this point and how you felt going into these at this point.
Well, knowing I was main eventing, these house shows and only being in the business, as a rookie, 6 months at most, it was a huge honor. being in the ring with The Rock and carrying the company by, wrestling for the world championship, the last match of the night for the house shows, I never did that before. This is the first for me. So I was really excited, and it made me realize the direction I was heading, that I was going to end up being a world champion eventually.
Well, man, listen, we get to SummerSlam 2000, and I know you'll remember this one for as long as you live, and maybe not remember it because of what it did to you. My God, as far as concussions go, it's The Rock defending against Triple H and you, and this is where you got that concussion from the botched pedigree on the announce table. What do you remember of talking with The Rock when that one was all over?
Oh, gosh, I don't remember anything. I ended up in a hospital. I came to consciousness 4 hours after the pay-per-view, and I was in the hospital, and I didn't know where I was. I didn't know who I was. It was a really odd situation for me. So I never got to talk to The Rock or Triple H about the match until the following week. We met before Raw TVs that day. So we all thanked each other for the match the following week when we were talking. And, Triple H made a little joke about, how he knocked me out. And, it was a really, I'll tell you this, those guys were so professional. I had no idea what I was doing in that ring the whole time. They were leading me through that match.
Yeah.
And I was literally, my head was not there. My brain was somewhere else in La La Land. And there was no way that I could remember that whole entire match in my condition. And it's amazing how well they covered up for me.
Especially a guy like you, Kurt, who was so big into memorization, and prior to going out there, that's everything for you. And now all of a sudden you have to become completely dependent on those guys. You're helpless. You have no other choice, right? So, and like you said, they're pros.
You know what? A real quick story. When I went to the back, they brought me back out to finish the match, and I walked out with Stephanie, and she said that I asked her, "Hey, what do I do when I get to the ring?" She said, "I'll tell you." So we walk down there, we get to the ring, and she goes, "Rock's going to come and hit the ropes. I want you to grab his foot." So I grab his foot when he hits the ropes, and Stephanie's like, "Pull him out of the ring." So I pull him out of the ring, and I look at Stephanie. She's like, "Throw him into the damn steps." Like she expected me to pick up on what I had to do or go by my instincts and do whatever was coming next. I didn't even know what I was going to do. When I threw him into the steps, I looked at her. She goes, "Get in the fucking ring."
You're like Mr. Roboto. Tell me what to do.
What to do. I was completely blank-headed. So somebody led me through till I got in the ring, and then The Rock and Triple H led me through the rest of the match.
That reminds me of me hosting this podcast with you week in and week out. I'm totally kidding. I'm kidding. It's all good. Oh man, that's good shit. Well, listen, we're gonna get into some fun stuff here because we're talking lead up to your big total win over The Rock at No Mercy in October of 2000, and there's a bunch of fun matches on TV. You ready to do this?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, here we go. SmackDown, September 28th, 2000, back in Pittsburgh, buddy. It's Chris Benoit and you defeating The Rock and Triple H. The torch says Chris Benoit and Kurt Angle beat The Rock and Triple H when Angle pinned Rock after an Olympic slam. Late in the match, Stephanie came out and stopped Rock from hitting Angle with a chair shot. Oh, she's protecting you. After the match, Steph clapped for Benoit and Angle behind Triple H's back. But did you start to see the early signs that The Rock was thinking of getting out of the business here and maybe starting to think about focusing on movies?
No, not at this particular time, but soon after this, yes, because he did sign a deal, a 5-picture deal with Lionsgate, and I believe it was probably right after he lost the world title against me at No Mercy in October that year. So it was coming soon. It just didn't come yet, but I'm sure that The Rock knew about it. I'm sure that his agent told him, "Hey, we're working on a deal." He just didn't let anybody else know. I think the only person that knew was Vince, other than The Rock. So we all found out after my match at No Mercy when I beat him for the world title.
All right.
I wasn't surprised. I knew he was going to be a big Hollywood star. I knew it. Everybody did.
Yeah, and a pioneer, if you think about it, in the movie space for other wrestlers, the Dave Batistas, the John Cenas, the Kurt Angles, right? I mean, he helped kind of pave the way for you guys.
Oh, without a doubt. He made agencies and producers and writers look at wrestlers as actors. He was the one that really opened it up for us. Yes.
Yeah. All right, let's get on to the next fun one. It's Raw, October 9th, 2000 in Anaheim. Rikishi and The Rock defeat you and Kane when Rikishi pins you. He pins Kurt Angle. After the match is the big reveal where Rikishi says he ran over Austin last year. Kurt, what did you think of the Rikishi "I did it for The Rock" promo and the fact that they had him be the guy who hit Austin with the car?
It was an angle. It was a program. I think it was a great program. I do understand, him and The Rock, related, and would he do that for The Rock? I don't know. It seemed a little odd, but a lot of our storylines were a little odd, so I'm not surprised.
It's like them almost trying to do the bloodline before the bloodline became a thing, the Rikishi and Rocks were related thing. That's funny. Yeah. Well, we move on. It's October 16th, 2000 in Detroit, Rock City, home of SummerSlam this year. And it's you, Edge, and Christian, your boys, your buddies, defeating The Rock and the Hardy Boys. Man, that's kind of fun. The Torch said Kurt Angle and Edge and Christian with Stephanie beat The Rock and the Hardys with Lita. God, what a time in the business. Late in the match, Rock hit Angle with the rock bottom and covered him, but Steph distracted the ref. Later, Steph hit Jeff Hardy with a tire iron, which enabled Angle to pin him. Afterward, Rock gave Christian the rock bottom and had a stare down with Angle and Steph as they left the arena. Dude, every time you're in the ring with The Rock, it's just magic, isn't it?
Yeah. You know what? We had great chemistry. And every time we got in that ring, every single time we went in that ring, every time one after the other, we got better and better and better. And our matches, by the time I won the world title from him, our matches were 5 stars. I really, really enjoyed working with him. We had incredible chemistry, and we continued to, and it just got better and better.
And let's not forget here, having Stephanie involved in an angle, she brings an element. She takes it up a notch. I'm a big Stephanie fan.
She makes it a lot better. She makes it a lot more fun and makes it a lot more interesting. Definitely.
Yeah, it's like another added layer to elevate whatever's going on because her character is so good, and you two at this point in time together was money. So a lot of fun there. Okay, we move on. It's SmackDown, October 19th, 2000. The march to Kurt's championship continues. It's Cleveland, and you defeat The Rock, Triple H, and Chris Benoit in a 4 corners match. Kurt, we have a video of the pre-match promo from The Rock, and buddy, he's mocking you. I can't wait to watch it. Here we go.
There certainly has been chaos here tonight. Rock, we know that this Sunday at No Mercy, it's you defending the World Wrestling Federation Championship against Kurt Angle with Stephanie McMahon Helmsley in Angle's corner.
Finally, The Rock has come back to Cleveland. You see, over the past 2 weeks, The Rock has had a lot on his mind. The Rock just recently found out that it was Rikishi who ran over Stone Cold Steve Austin. The Rock's been angry. The Rock's been confused. But there's been one man to help The Rock snap out of it. And that man is Kurt Angle. So Kurt Angle, thank you for helping The Rock. After all your trash talking for the past 2 weeks, after attacking The Rock from behind, The Rock is now not thinking about Rikishi, he's thinking about you. The Rock is thinking about you, Kurt Angle, thinking about beating the Olympic mucus right out of your smug, smiling face.
Olympic mucus?
And you see, Kurt Angle, over the past 2 months, The Rock has gone through a lot of opponents, one of which is Kane, all 7 feet, 350 pounds, who comes out and says, I am the big red monster. Another man by the name of Chris Benoit, who comes out and says, just prove me wrong. And now The Rock faces a man who comes out and says, drinking milk has calcium and is good for your bones.
That's not funny. That's slanderous.
And drinking milk is also very good for your healthy body. Oh, it's true. It's true.
Well, unless you're lactose intolerant.
You see Kurt Angle this Sunday night at No Mercy. Let The Rock explain to you exactly what he's going to do, and only in language that you can understand. You see, Kurt Angle, you and The Rock, we're going to have a WWF title match in which many moves are going to be executed. An armbar, a wrist lock, and many other moves. But you see, The Rock has a very special move he's going to execute just for you, Kurt.
Uh-oh. What is it?
You see, The Rock is going to take his boot.
Oh, no. Not the boot.
And then The Rock is going to turn it horizontal or sideways, just the way you like it, or so The Rock has heard.
Wait a minute.
And then, Kurt, in one swift motion, The Rock is going to take his boot and stick it straight up your candy ass. You see, Kurt Angle, you think you're special just because you got your 3 eyes. Do you think you're really special because you've cashed in on the services of one Stephanie McMahon Helmsley? A $2, no. 50 cent, no. Buy 2, get 1 free. Does anybody have change for a nickel? Grab it.
What? Change for a nickel?
You see, Kurt Angle, this isn't the Olympics. You're not facing the Romanians. You're not facing the Bulgarians. You're facing The Rock, the Brahma Bull, a man who has no quit, a man who has no fear. So Kurt Angle, bring your gold medals. Stephanie, bring your dirty panties. But above all else,
oh my God.
But above all else, just like tonight at No Mercy this Sunday, just bring it. If you smell what The Rock is cooking.
The Rock is...
Bring your gold medals, bring your dirty panties. We're going to have a war. Kurt, what'd you think of that one, man?
Doesn't get better than that, man. I'm entertaining shit, man.
Listen, can you do that voice for us? Drink your milk. Is that how you used to really talk back then?
I don't talk like that, but I'm trying right now.
It's true. It's true. It was so good, man. So the Torch says Kurt Angle with Stephanie McMahon Helmsley beat Rock and Triple H and Chris Benoit in a fatal 4-way match. Did you hear me? Kurt Angle beat Rock, Triple H, and Chris Benoit. With Triple H already knocked out, Steph lured Rock into chasing her from the ring. Benoit attacked Rock, leaving Angle to pin Benoit. But man, did you ever see anyone get it hot at The Rock for his promos about him? Did you ever see anybody be like, "Hey, buddy, you're just going a little too far here. You think you're funny, asshole"? Did anybody go off on him?
You know what? No. And if anybody should have been upset, it should have been me. And I absolutely loved when he did them. I was laughing my ass off if he was talking about me. It didn't matter. I loved his promos.
Oh man, so good, so entertaining. And you're right. You know it's part of the show, and you want people to be as entertaining as they possibly can be, and nobody did it better than him.
You know what? I'll tell you this. When he's talking about whoever he's talking about, that person becomes as valid.
He gives them validity, is what you're trying to say.
Yeah, yes, yeah. It absolutely does. Because he's talking about a person, and The Rock is so damn famous, and he's so over that when he's talking about you, it raises you another level. It definitely does. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you feel it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. And it's especially to go back and watch it now to see, man, what a fun time I got to work with this guy who, as we said at the top of the show, is an icon.
Yes, he is. It was the Attitude Era, and there's no better era than that.
Man. So here it is, man. This is it, the moment. Kurt wins the WWF title for the first time, and of course, this happens October 22nd at No Mercy in Albany. And the Torch said Kurt Angle with Stephanie pinned The Rock at 21 minutes, 45 seconds to capture the WWF title. We call it, the Belt Nerds, the Big Eagle with the scratch logo. I love it. It's one day going to be on one of these shelves back here. But man, you won that awesome championship, your first one. During the ring announcement, Howard Finkel said the match was no DQ. Ross acted surprised, but early in the match, Stephanie distracted Rock, allowing Angle to take early advantage. At the 16-minute mark, Rock was about to apply the people's elbow, but Stephanie ran into the ring. She yelled at Rock, so Rock gave her the rock bottom. Yep, Stephanie taking one for the team, buddy. Rock then signaled that he was going to give her the people's elbow, but Angle intercepted the Rock. Triple H then ran out and attacked Angle and threw him out of the ring. Rock confronted Triple H, but the fresh Triple H gave Rock a pedigree. And remember, we got these no DQ stipulations built in. So the ref's like, basically, he can't do anything at this point. He's just eating popcorn, watching all
his
this
hands
going
are
on.
tied.
They're tied, they're in his pants, they're whatever. But Triple H drags his limp-bodied wife out of the ring and carried her to the back. And at 17:50, Angle crawled back into the ring and covered the Rock, but Rock kicked out after 2. 18:35, Rock surprised Angle with a DDT for a near fall. And at 19:35, Rikishi, who had yet to wash the blood off his face, walks to ringside. He hits you, Kurt, trying to help Rock win. Rock hits the rock bottom, but was too groggy to make the quick cover. And when he did finally make the cover, you kicked out. Rikishi entered the ring and gave the corner butt splash to both Rock and Angle. I know how much you love those. And then thanks to Angle, he pulled Rock into Rikishi's path at the last second for that one. Rikishi kicked towards Rock, but Angle ducked and Rikishi kicked Rock. And we go on and on. But man, you gave Rikishi the Olympic slam, which holy shit, you want to talking about an Olympic slam, getting that big ass up in the air.
It wasn't easy.
No, but I mean, a lot of that, and we've talked about it, the guy taking it has to be athletic and be able to jump with you.
Yeah, he has to, especially someone of Rikishi's size. He has to get up with for me a little bit. I mean, he had to weigh at one point in time 450. Maybe.
He was a Twinkie shy of 500. I mean, come on. And then you gave the Olympic slam to Rock and scored the pin, but as Angle celebrated on his way to the back, I mean, you had tears of joy, buddy. A bloodied Rock eventually stood up and looked around, wondering what had happened. 4.25 stars by the Torch. This is obviously a massive moment for you in your career, but talk to me about The Rock, Kurt, dropping the world title to a rookie. That's not something that happens every day in the business, man.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Especially someone like The Rock or Stone Cold Steve Austin or Triple H or Undertaker. Those guys don't normally lose to rookies. And I felt very honored to be able to be a part of that and be able to be the world champion during my rookie year, especially beating someone like The Rock. That was a major feat for my career. It really was. It's one of the biggest wins of my entire career.
And listen, they didn't give you a break because the next night on Raw, you're already defending the title against Rock and Triple H in Hartford. I mean, there was no slowing down, buddy.
No. They put me to work, and I didn't mind it. I must have held that title for about 5 months. I had a really good run, and I was main eventing everywhere, and it was a great experience for me. I got even that much better by main eventing all these house shows and TVs. It was a really good time for me.
Did The Rock always call your matches back in these days, Kurt?
Yes, because I was inexperienced. What we do, we would structure the whole match because I didn't have a lot of experience with improvising. And so we would structure the whole match. He would, from A to Z, and out there, Rock would remind me what was coming up next. So they were teaching me. I was a good listener. And because I became a good listener, I ended up being a great leader. Where I was able to start leading matches. Probably right after I lost the title from Rock, 5 months after I beat him for the title. That's when I was really, I turned it around and became a great leader instead of just a great follower. I started leading matches at that point in time, and I started structuring matches together at that time.
Hey guys, it's the hardcore legend Mick Foley here, and I need to call a quick timeout, a brief timeout. Is I wanted to tell your listeners what I have been telling Foley is Pod listeners for a while now about all the cool things happening over on adfreeshows.com.
An all-new edition of The Insiders is here, as Conrad welcomes David Zaadi, the man behind so many iconic video packages WWF fans grew up on, including one that left Vince in tears.
You got it. And Conrad, I swear, I walked outside the studio and Vince was sitting down on the concrete floor, crying hysterically, just saying, thank you. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you. I went up to told Kevin, he says, good job, can't wait to see it. 15 minutes later in the stairwell, Vince is still sitting down in a different spot now, crying, saying thank you. Thank you.
Special guest host Raven sat in for Jake the Snake Roberts on the Snake Pit, looking back 25 years on his rivalry with DDP and an interesting new member of the Flock.
Jimmy Hart comes up to me one day and goes, "Hey, Hulk would like a favor." I go, "What is it?" He goes, "He'd like you to put Horace in the Flock." I'm like, "Sure." I'm not going to say no. But it became a running gag, like Jericho and Conan. Three of us used to hang out together and call ourselves the triumvirate of useless information. And so they were like, wait, did you put Horace Hogan in the Flock because he's Hogan's nephew? I'm like, what? He's Hogan's nephew? I had no idea.
That's just a small taste, a sampling, if you will, of what we have waiting for you. With 4 levels to choose from. 4. See for yourself why ad-free shows is the best value in wrestling today. Sign up now, right now, at adfreeshows.com. Yeah.
So you defeated Rock, Austin, and Rikishi in a no DQ fatal 4-way match at the UK Rebellion pay-per-view on December 2nd in Sheffield. And then at Madison Square Garden a few days later, it's another fatal 4-way in the SmackDown Go Home show to Armageddon 2000, this time with Taker replacing Rikishi. The Torch said Kurt Angle fought Steve Austin, Undertaker, and Rock to a no contest when Triple H and Rikishi interfered. Late in the match, though, the suspended heels walked through the crowd to ringside and attacked all 3 baby faces to end the match. But were you surprised to see him still wrestling and doing this stuff on the road as much as he was at this point?
Yes, I was surprised because by this time he had the movie deal.
Yep.
Rock was a workhorse. He never turned Vince down. He always wanted to work harder and harder. He wanted to show up. There are a lot of times where he had movies coming up, and if the show was in his city where he was, he'd tell Vince, "I want to wrestle tonight. You're coming to my city. I'm going to be there shooting a movie. I'll take a break from the movie and I'll go wrestle." So Dwayne always wanted to be a part of wrestling. He always was up until a short period of time ago. But you know what? I wouldn't doubt if he comes back again.
And we're going to get to that at the end of the show, get your opinion on that. We move on to Armageddon 2000 in Birmingham, and it's, of course, the big 6-way Hell in a Cell match that we've referenced and talked about here on the show. You pinned The Rock to win Hell in a Cell at 32 minutes, 20 seconds, and that had Steve Austin, Rikishi, Triple H, Undertaker, and that was, 4.25-star match too. But man, this Hell in a Cell match, any memories of this match that you can share with our audience?
Oh, it was really, it was nerve-wracking because it was a really dangerous match. And, the whole match was focused around Rikishi's bump that he was going to take off the top of the cage onto a truck. And if he would have went like a half a foot to the left or right, he would have killed himself. I mean, it was a really dangerous bump. So the whole match was structured around that. And they wanted to make sure that was done properly. And that was the one thing that they wanted to make sure that occurred during the pay-per-view match. But the match was really brutal. The cage, we used the cage quite a bit. The thing is, you can only have 2 wrestlers doing something in that ring, in that cage at one time. So the other 4 have to be down selling or chopping wood in the corner. So, it's hard to structure those matches because you have to remember what time you're coming in, or you have to have great timing of when you're going to be in the ring doing your spot with whatever wrestler you're doing it with, and it has to flow really well. So you have to be really attentive the whole entire match.
I can imagine. And here, listen, you also pinned The Rock again on pay-per-view. I mean, this is a big deal. Pinning
none of that ever hurt The Rock. He could lose left and right, up and down. It never affected him. He was one of those guys. He was over no matter if he won or lost. Win, lose, or draw, The Rock was always over. And it didn't matter if you beat him a million times or not. It didn't matter.
Well, buddy, we're going to fast forward a little bit to you're a baby face in summer of 2001, and there is a funny backstage skit with and The Rock, and you're giving him a glass of milk, and so we're going to check that out next. Here we go.
Rock. Now, I know we haven't always seen eye to eye, and I don't like you, and I know that you don't like me. But the fact is...
Whoa! Whoa. Why don't you like The Rock?
Well, usually you're pretty mean to me. I mean, I remember this one time when you said you're going to shove my gold medal straight up.
The most important thing is The Rock is back. Let's let bygones be bygones. Clean slate. And we can start by you telling The Rock exactly why you're in his locker room.
All right. Well, I know you had this match with Shane McMahon. A street fight tonight. And I've had my own experiences with Shane McMahon in street fights. And I have a little secret weapon that's going to guarantee you a win tonight. Something that I used against Shane McMahon, against every guy I ever fought. Now, I don't know why I'm doing this. Probably because you and I are on the same team. But here it goes.
What in the blue hell is that?
It's got calcium. It helps you build strong bones. And above all, it's delicious.
Let The Rock understand this. You come walking in The Rock's locker room without knocking. And of all the things you could offer The Rock, first night back, Raw's War, live in front of millions and millions of Rock's fans, you offer The Rock a glass of milk?
Well, yeah.
Well, you know what The Rock is going to do, Kurt, with that glass of milk? He's going to take the glass of milk, he's going to turn it sideways, and you know what The Rock is going to do? That's some of the best damn milk The Rock has ever had.
Oh, I know, I've had it.
The Rock appreciates that.
Hey, you're welcome.
Thank you. But, for future references, Kurt, the next time you bring The Rock a glass of milk, and it's this delicious, bring The Rock some pie.
I got you.
Huh?
I got you.
You got The Rock?
Oh, I'll bring you a lot of milk, and I know this place that makes great apple pie. I'm with you, Rock. I'll bring it next time. It's true. I'll do it for you.
Thanks anyway. Thanks for the milk. Good luck.
Oh, man, so good. Were you going to him at all for any advice, even promos or anything at this point, or just kind of taking your own notes and seeing what was working for him?
I never went to Rock for advice for promos, which I probably should have, to be honest with you. But I did go to him for a lot of advice for in the ring.
Okay.
The one guy that I spent a lot of time with my first year, my rookie year, having matches with him more than anybody else. And he became my mentor. So whenever I had a question or anything I was curious about, I'd go straight to The Rock. And he would tell me exactly what I needed to do. He was a great friend, and he was a great teacher.
We're going to change it up a little bit, because then you guys here in September 27th, 2001 are going to work together as a tag team. You guys challenged the Dudleys for the WWF tag team titles on SmackDown in Dayton. And the Torch said the Dudley boys beat The Rock and Kurt Angle in a tables match to retain the titles. This was the second best match of the night behind Van Dam versus Jericho. I mean, come on, listen to these names. This is an incredible card. We talked about RVD. And by the way, that was how much fun was that fucking episode, dude?
Oh, we had a blast doing that.
I mean,
about RVD.
Oh, it was so fun. But late in the match, Shane, Booker, and Test ran out and interfered. Seems to be a theme in this era, leading the Dudleys, putting both Rock and Angle through the tables for the win. You two, though, as tag champions would have been amazing, don't you think?
Oh, my God. I would have loved that almost as much as winning the world title. Being tag team champions with The Rock, that's a freaking dream come true, man.
Hey, listen, by the way, and I just saw we have our producer with us, Dom, and he just put it in our chat. Rob Van Dam said he loved that episode that we did.
Oh, good. I'm glad RVD liked it. I was hoping he would.
That is, so yeah, thank you. If you're listening to this one, man, we appreciate it. We had so much fun doing it. But we move on, because on Raw, the night after Survivor Series 01, this is November 19th, Rock would defeat you in Charlotte, and he's the champ. So he's holding on to the world title. And on our final clip of the week, there's a backstage segment on Raw in November of 2001 that sets up this match. Let's take a look at it.
Well? Well, what? Don't you have something to say to me?
Like what?
Like, thank you, Kurt, for starts. Thank you for saving my job. Thank you for saving the day. Thank you for keeping the WWF in business. I mean, you did your little part getting the pinfall, but hello, guy who made it happen, that'd be me.
Let The Rock make one thing perfectly clear to you.
Huh?
The Rock didn't want, ask for, or need your help. The Rock would have beaten Stone Cold Steve Austin on his own. Besides, at what point did you decide not to let The Rock or anyone else in the WWF in on your little plan with Vince McMahon? When was that?
Well, Mr. McMahon said...
Well, Mr. McMahon said... Mr. McMahon said... Well, The Rock says, for 1 month, one long month, you went undercover in the Alliance. Yeah. For 1 month, you bashed the WWF, The Rock's WWF teammates in the head with chairs. You bashed The Rock in the head with chairs for 1 month. Lied. All so you can have your selfish big moment.
Yeah. I mean, boo-hoo. So I dented your head a little bit. Don't you think it was worth it? Come on, Rock.
You know what, Kurt? It was well worth it. Thank you. It was well worth it. Bashing the WWF in the head with chairs. Bashing The Rock in the head with chairs. Beating up on The Rock for 1 month just to save the company. Well worth it. To save the company. Beating up on The Rock. Well, now that the company's saved, why don't you try and beat up on The Rock tonight?
Wait a minute. You're challenging me to a match? For your title. You know, Rock, I didn't think I'd be saying this to you today, but thank you. See, now that I did save the company, I'll have no problem beating you up just for fun.
Whoa! Don't leave yet. Rock's not done. The Rock has one more thing to say to you. You may have a lot of people fooled. A lot of people fooled. Gullible, milk drinking, saving the day Kurt Angle. The Rock will never trust Vince McMahon, and The Rock can look in your eyes and know he can never trust you. You're no savior, Kurt Angle. You're an asshole.
Wow. So, dude, that's a very different style of promo with you two. We're not giddy and laughing. He's intense.
No, he was serious and he was intense. You know what? He was the best at all of it. You know, he was so funny in certain promos and he could be so good and serious with other promos. He was so diverse. He really was.
And he brings that diversity now to what he does on the big screen.
And, the XFL and Termana and Zoa.
Yeah, whatever he touches turns to gold.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. He's an incredible businessman, too.
It's not Olympic gold, but it's gold. The Torch says Rock pins Kurt Angle at 7:12 to retain the world title. At 7 minutes, Angle applied the ankle lock, but Rock rolled through and scored a leverage pinfall. Jericho attacks Rock afterwards. He put him in the walls of Jericho. But we continue to move on because 2 weeks later in Milwaukee, here's an interesting one. The Rock and Trish Stratus defeat Kurt and Vince McMahon. So here we go. We're injecting a little Trish Stratus, which I'm never going to be upset about, into the storyline. What did you think of working with Trish?
Oh, Trish was great. You know, a girl that came into the company, very green, didn't know a lot about pro wrestling. Was a fitness girl, I believe, you know, that from Canada. She really picked up on it quickly, and she became one of the best female wrestlers of all time. And it didn't take her long to do that. So I had a lot of respect for Trish, and I was really proud to be a part of her team.
And here she is all these years later in an angle with Becky Lynch right now.
Yeah, she's timeless, man. She's still doing it.
She looks great, moves in the ring great, and it's just unbelievable to see what she's still doing in the ring. One of those that has been able to,
beautiful woman, yeah.
And she's been able to avoid the major injury, you know?
Yeah, without a doubt.
That's a key. So then you would defeat The Rock on January 24th, 2002. That was a SmackDown in North Charles. And then we move forward to May 4th at a house show in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Hogan and The Rock defeat Chris Jericho and Kurt Angle. So Rock was off TV at the time. He was filming, but he wanted to do this show because it was so close to home. But man, how amazing of a match is this with the four of you? Again, Jericho and Rock and Hogan.
You had two icons in wrestling at that time, the Hogan and Rock, and then you had two future icons with Jericho and myself. It was awesome. Chris and I were so excited to be able to get in the ring with those two, just from a history standpoint. You know, it was like these two are two of the most over wrestlers in the history of the company.
Yeah.
And we're going to be in the for 10, 15 minutes. It was a lot of fun.
I think you just said a line there that that's a great way to put it. Everybody talks Rushmore and who's the best technical and this. Hogan and Rock, two of the most just over. I mean, over with the fans, mainstream, popular, just two of the most over wrestlers of all time. You got to throw Austin in there, but those two guys just, I mean, crushing numbers at the box office, and not only the box office, but box office when you think of the wrestling ticket sales and everything they did, merchandise.
Well,
unbelievable.
You know, if you're going to go with top 5 most over wrestlers, both of those guys are in it.
I love it.
Over. Not best wrestler, not most entertained, but most over. The Rock and Hogan are in the top 5, both.
Yeah, you got them and Austin, and you know, I'm sure there's a few other we're not thinking of, Cena maybe. But when you talk about over merchandise sales, ticket sales, box office names, more, you know, people recognize their name whether they're wrestling fans or not. Hulk Hogan, The Rock, right up there. So listen, buddy, your final matches together are the go-home show for Vengeance 02 on SmackDown from Wilkes-Barre, and with The Rock defeating Kurt via DQ when Undertaker interfered. Did you think that this would have been the last singles matches that you guys would ever have?
Yeah, I knew it was coming. I knew The Rock was going to head to Hollywood. I also knew that he would eventually come back, but I wasn't expecting to wrestle him again. And I don't think I did after this. I believe Rock did come back here and there, but him and Austin were the two top guys in the company. And losing to Rock was a big deal. Somebody had to step up. And that's where I, wanted to be one of the ones to be able to step up. And there were a bunch of us, Jericho and Benoit and, Eddie Guerrero, Brock Lesnar. Guys did step up eventually, but it was hard to lose The Rock. It was really hard.
All right, we got a couple questions from the fans, Kurt, before we get out of here this week, but I have a few for you before we close it down. Talk about your relationship with The Rock. When's the last time you heard from him?
You know what? The Rock, he would, whenever he would change his number, he changed his number quite a bit. He would text me and give me his new number. We kept in touch probably until 2013. And then he got so busy that, he did his own thing. I was doing my own thing. But The Rock also got me in the movie Pain and Gain. He specifically did. And we had a fight scene in that movie. He was starred The Rock and Mark Wahlberg. And it was really cool to be able to be in that movie and, have a fight scene with The Rock. And, but he always kept in touch with me up until 2013. But then he didn't give me his number after that. And we kind of lost touch with each other. But at that point in time, I was in TNA and doing my own thing. So, it was no hard feelings. It didn't matter what, that Rock wasn't going to give me his number anymore. But would I have liked to? Yeah, I would have liked to keep in touch with him. But, the one thing he did last year, I went to a Bert Kreischer concert. You know him?
Yeah, I've heard of him. Yep.
Yeah, so I posted it on Twitter. And we both had our shirts off, and the Rock commented, hey, Bert, you're looking incredible, dude. And meanwhile, he's like really heavy set, really chubby back. And I look pretty good, but he put Bert over instead of me. And I was like, haha, okay, Rock, real funny. So that's the last thing that we, that we relayed with each other was
kind of interacted about. Yeah. You've already said you're not shocked about how successful he's in, but there's still got to be an element to which we've talked about how over he is, but I mean, he is megastar. I mean, he's number one when it comes to action movies. It's different levels.
Listen, if he's not the top actor in Hollywood, I want to know who is, because The Rock, he's the one that's getting the most money. I was told that he's getting at least $38 million a film. Whether that's true or not, I'm sure it's pretty close. And he is the most demanded actor in Hollywood. Everybody wants him for comedies, action movies, dramas. Doesn't matter. Rock can do it all, and he's proven himself.
Do you have a favorite match or segment with The Rock?
You know what? My favorite match was the match where I beat him at No Mercy, obviously, for the World Championship. Sure. And my favorite promo segment, was when we did the milk. That was really a lot of fun to do with The Rock. And you want to know my favorite movie is The Rock?
Sure.
You're not going to believe this. It's an animation, Moana.
So you like the one where you don't have to see his face? We're going to tell him.
You know what? I know, a good-looking guy like him. But no, honestly, that movie, he was so good in it. And he played, obviously Moana's, that big guy that he played. And it was incredible. He was so funny, entertaining. He could sing. He's just so talented all across the board. I mean, this guy can just about do anything.
All right, here we go. We're going to go rapid fire with the fan questions, Kurt. You've been I don't know if you ever imagined that, all those years ago, we talk about you walking out with the title, working with the most electrifying man in all of sports entertainment, that you would record your podcast about him in the parking lot of a Costco. I don't know that we ever pictured that.
I can't believe it myself that I'm actually doing it, but we are.
Look how far you've come, Kurt Angle. This is hysterical. And now you're driving. Okay. I hope that you get pulled over.
They kicked me out.
If you get pulled over, this is going to be the most fun. I'm going to keep recording, and we're going to get you in the car.
You got it, man. You want me to get pulled over on purpose?
How does Costco kick you out? What do they like? You need to move, buddy? What does that look like?
You know what? I was trying to get good internet, so I was sitting right next to the front door.
Yeah, you're probably in a handicap spot. Tell us the truth. That's fine.
No, I wasn't handicapped, but I was not allowing people to get through the door because I was in the way.
Oh my God, you're something else.
Hey, I do that a lot. When I go in the store, I park right at the front. I put my flashers on.
And so you were doing that. You had your flashers on at the store.
Saw me do it, and they went on Twitter and said, "Do you believe fucking Kurt Angle parks in front of the store like he's some fucking, that the world owes me?" And I was like, "Holy shit, man! I had knee replacements. I have an excuse."
Well, today's excuse, everybody, is he doesn't have Wi-Fi at home, and he's trying to mooch off of Costco's Wi-Fi so we can get a podcast done. So, be gentle.
I've come a long way, Paul.
Be gentle. You really have, Kurt. You've a level of success now that we were talking before we record. I'm like, could you go to a library? Maybe do the hotels out there rent rooms by the hour? Like, what are our options?
Well, this is our option. Our only option.
You're Olympic hero. Let's get through this then, and we'll wrap it up. Tony Flowers, what was your part in Pain and Gain? Something that came about by you and The Rock talking directly about it, or was it coincidence that you were both in the movie? You said he helped you get into that one, right?
Yeah. When I called him up, I said, "Hey, Dwayne, I know they're looking for people for the movie."
So you did find his phone number at this point.
Well, at that point, he was always giving me his number.
Oh, okay.
It's before 2013, and so he said, "Hey, no problem. I'll talk to Michael Bay." I was like, "Holy shit, Michael Bay!"
Yeah, right.
Famous director. So he talked to Michael. Michael said, "Yeah, bring him on." So I went and had the fight scene with The Rock. Had a blast, and then out of the blue, because I didn't see him on set, Mark Wahlberg calls me and says, "Hey, Kurt, I didn't get a chance to meet you. I wanted to meet you, but I know you did a fight scene with The Rock. I wasn't on the set today. I just want to say hello and introduce myself to you, which I thought was pretty cool. You know, having Mark Wahlberg call me. Obviously,
yeah.
Dwayne had that, but it was pretty cool, man.
All right. Fernando Diaz says, has Kurt tried any of The Rock's products? I don't know if you've been able to. Obviously, you're not going to do
Zoa Energy Drink. I love it.
Okay, Zoa. There you go.
I love
All right.
it. Zoa Energy Drink. I haven't tried Terramana, but I'm not allowed to drink it.
And we don't want you to. Okay, so that's not happening. That's out. But we're glad you tried this. I want to keep doing the show. Brad Stanton says, does The Rock have one more match, or is it just rumors?
You know what? As good a shape as he still is, he really trains hard, and he has been able to keep his body young and active. When you watch him train, he does a lot of not just like weight training and stuff. He does a lot of plyometrics and stuff like that. I believe that he could still wrestle. I believe if he wants to do it, he could put in a good 30-minute match at WrestleMania. I don't doubt that for a second. He's able to take care of his body as much as he did lately. I don't see it being a problem for him. He's a beast. Yeah,
I'm with you, Aaron. I love this question. Hopefully, he means it to be fun. But he says, "Where does The Rock in your all-time greatest feuds? Is he in the top 10?" We've talked about it. Kurt's top 10 is like really 100, but he calls it a top 10. So, is he in your top 10, Kurt?
You know what? The Rock, I would say he's not number one. Okay, because I'll tell you.
Your audio's cutting in and out a little bit now that you're driving around the neighborhood.
All right. How about now? Am I good?
You're good. Yeah.
Okay. The reason why Rock's not my number one choice is because I wrestled him when I had no experience.
Yeah, you were. Yeah.
As good as I was, what I expected myself to be a few years after that, and that's when I started having my best matches. You know, whether it was Brock Lesnar, Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, Undertaker. But The Rock, I had my incredible matches with him my first year, but I wasn't really that good. People might think I was good, but for myself, judging myself, I wasn't that good starting out. So that's the reason why Rock's not in my top 5.
Well, listen, buddy, next week we are going to talk about when you started out. It's all about your time and developmental, and we're going to have a good time. We're going to talk about Dory Funk Jr., and we're going to talk about Dr. Tom Pritchard, and we're going to talk about you learning the ropes, the wrestling ropes. I can't wait to. And you know what I can't wait for, Kurt? I can't wait for you to have internet again. Yeah, I can't wait for you to have internet again. That's going to be great, and I'm looking forward to Your entire face has frozen on the screen. You look like a choir.
You know what? I'll have it next week. I guarantee it.
It'll happen again next week. Your mouth was like shaped like you were singing a chorus in a choir. It was great. It was frozen for like 5 seconds. Guys, listen, I'm going to get into it as Kurt tries to find a spot where he can promote chicken snacks, because God forbid we get out of here without talking about chicken snacks to round out the show. But check out all his past top Impact moments at impactwrestling.com/packages and sign up with code Kurt. He said it over and over again. That is where you want to be, and that's where you want to go to see the bulk of his career. Okay, it's impactwrestling.com. That's where he performed most, so check it out. It helps us out a great bit. impactwrestling.com/packages, and then use code Kurt. And if your business targets 25 to 54-year-old men, there's no better place to advertise than right here with the Kurt Angle Show. You've heard us do ads for a lot of other companies for years, and it's because it works. So check it out. Go to advertisewithangle.com now and find more about advertising with the Kurt Angle Show. And if you're watching on video, this has transitioned to me only. Kurt Angle has lost his connection, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to wrap up the show for us this week. Check out adfreeshows.com. You guys, you've heard it before. Remember, $9 a month is where it starts, and you can get a free week and check out all the great, valuable content. I'm talking bonus episodes. Dominic, our producer, also does hosting. He does graphics. He does it all. And so, man, there's so many talented guys over there with lots of content. So check out ad-free shows. You also get live experiences where we will record live with the studio audience. And then follow us on social media at The Angle Pod. YouTube, our YouTube has grown by at least 8,000 followers over the last several months, and people are having fun watching us on YouTube. So check it out. Turn on those notifications, like, subscribe, The Angle Pod, youtube.com/The Angle Pod. And again, I mentioned Dom. He's over there slicing and dicing and making sure to deliver all that great content over there. On Kurt's behalf, guys, go to physicallyfit.com and check out his chicken snacks. I'm not going to stumble through all their flavors, but you've heard them. The buffalo chicken wing and the sriracha and all the other great flavors. So check it out. You can use Angle Pod for the promo code and get 20% off your order. And then also, if you check out KurtAngleBrand.com, that's where you're getting the cowboy hats. And that's where you're also going to be able to enjoy all the t-shirts and the cameo videos. And his cameo videos will be better than the video you just watched today. I can assure you of that. And also, you'll get maybe a birthday card.